All right, guys, it's time for an update on the four-door 55 project. So I've got a couple different projects going on. This morning, first thing, I tried to weed eat my yard, and I've been having so much trouble with this weed eater this past year. I think I figured out that it's pretty much, there's no compression, because it doesn't want to run. That pull cord pulls very easily, like there's no resistance. So I think that thing is just completely fried. It's old. I've had that thing for like 10, maybe 11, 12 years. So it's, you know, it's served its purpose. This, I have an Echo here that I got from my dad. It had been hanging in his shed for several years, not used. Some of the rubber stuff was rotten on it. So I put a new bulb primer in it. I replaced one of the hoses. And then I noticed another one of the hoses had a piece of plastic broke off in it. This thing has like, I don't even know what it's called. It's like a plastic, maybe an intake manifold, I don't know. But anyway, I went down here to the local lawn and garden place to get a new one, and they don't mess with Echo stuff, so probably gonna have to get online, I guess. But I don't even know what the part's called, so that ought to be great. Little research on the internet will probably figure it out. But I got a lot of mock-up stuff done to the chassis. I got pretty much, I'd say about 90% of the stuff I wanted to get done to it done. So at this point, it's ready to go ahead and break it down. I've already started breaking it down. I'm going to get the motor and trans back out of it. The core support radiator and everything broke off of it. And then at that point, the frame's ready to clean up and go ahead and just paint the main section you see there. It's just going to be just like a quickie clean up and paint, not spend a lot of time on it. But it was raining really, really hard a couple days ago, almost all day, so I couldn't do anything out here. So I worked on a grill for this car. I'm a long way from needing a grill. It was just something to do to pass the time, basically. But this grill was the one that came with the car, and the front end was caved in pretty bad. So I ended up straightening these bars out the best I could. You can still kind of see lines where that was pushed in. You know, it was bowed in. Anyway, it's good enough. And the thing about the grill is it will clean up. I mean, it has a little rust, but it will clean up. I took some 4/0 steel wool right here to these two, and it cleaned up pretty good. Now, these grills are clear coated, anodized clear coated. So what I have done in the past to several of them is used aircraft stripper and stripped it all off, and then went through and used 4/0 steel wool and mothers and cleaned it all up real good. And then wiped it down with wax and grease remover, tack ragged it, and then I sprayed it with clear coat to keep it from rusting. So that is what I plan on doing to this at one point in the future. But I don't have any paint stripper, so I can't do anything to it. But this thing was beat up. Even the tie bar that goes in here, I had to remove it. It was all bent up. Both ends were bent up real bad, and it had it twisted. So I had to go in here and dolly all these flanges back flat. This end was actually bent this way, so that went down. I had to straighten that out. But it's obviously off the blue car because there's blue paint everywhere. So I'm going to go in there when I get some stripper sometime in the future, and I'll strip this out. And anyway, I do think it'll be a pretty nice grill when it's finished. This thing, I mean, it looks like it's bad, but this will clean up pretty good. You'll probably actually be amazed of how good it will look. It's not gonna look perfect, but it will clean up good. But, you know, it'll keep you from having to spend money on a grill for this thing. But as I've stated before, it's not gonna be a perfect car. It's just gonna be a driver. But I do want it to look nice, you know. But anyway, I got my transmission coolant lines mocked up, so they are pre-bent done. I even have a bracket. I drilled and tapped the frame right here so the bracket bolts on. They come up along the side. I can drop the starter down without getting in the way. They're clear of the headers, kinda, I should say. But anyway, they bend around to come up here and then go down at an angle, and they come around up under to go to that. Now I am going to use some rubber, the actual transmission cooler rubber hose with hose clamps, and this little bitty end from here to here is just going to be a rubber hose going over to it underneath the splash apron. And then later down the road, I will have flexible braided hoses made that bolt onto there and go to this part here, the two lines that will drop out there. So but for now, you know, once I get the car up and running in the future, it'll probably just be rubber hose and be good to go for a while. But I ended up using the bracket for this transmission cooler, I covered this the other day in a video. I'd made this bracket a long time ago, and I think it was for my 55 Roadster. I don't remember, but it could have been for the hardtop. I don't remember. Anyway, I ended up having to trim it down a little bit because this radiator is a little bit narrower on the flange, and then I had 2 holes drilled in each one of those tabs, so I had to weld them both up and then grind them smooth and drill new holes. But I drilled and tapped the radiator flange for 832, and I've got little stainless Allen buttons in there to hold the bracket. I do need some fasteners to hold this on. I have a couple here, but I need more. But it's not something I need now. I was just basically just mocking up stuff, trying to use what I have around here. But anyway, at this point, it's ready to break down, and if I ever get a day or two that's nice in a row, I can do the cleanup and paint on the frame. Another project is the leaf springs, the rear leafs. These are the pair that I got from a subscriber named David. They brought them to me in a 56 Bel Air 4-door. The springs, when you lay them side by side, one is higher than the other, and that is normal. If you've ever taken old used leafs out of a car and you set them up side by side, 99% of the time you're going to see this. It's just common. The thing I've done in the past is I've re-arched the lowest one to match the big one, or the tallest one, and then put them back together. What I like to do is I like to take them apart and check each leaf to each other. Like I'll check the 2 long ones together, the next longest ones I'll check, and then so on and so on. I need to re-arch the long one and the second longest one. The other 2 are good. They match the other 2, so. The nylon liners that go inside there are completely shot. Now this is pretty common. Usually when I tear leaf springs apart for a 55, 6, or 7, there's none of these left, like they're gone. So for these to even have a little bit, I'm kind of amazed. But anyway, they do sell these new. They're just a nylon slider, basically a cushion. And they actually go underneath in that little indent right there. It has that square, and that's what goes up in there. But these are supposed to be square, so they're just not. This is probably the closest one to what it's supposed to look like, but this is what makes your suspension work really smooth. If you do not have these, they will wear into the leafs and cause all kinds of issues. Like this original leaf spring right here, it is so worn into itself right here that when that leaf's trying to glide over that, it's hitting that hump before it comes out, so it's going to be causing an issue. But anyway, these leaves luckily are not eat into each other real bad, so I just need to re-arch that one. Now there's plenty of YouTube videos to show re-arching. I remember doing a set of these a long time ago at a buddy's shop. He had a vise and he let me use it. I like doing it in the vise. It's much easier. It's less work on your body, but I don't have a vise here, or I mean a press, not a vise. Anyway, I don't have a press here, so I'm probably gonna be hammering on these, but I'll have to find 2 steel beams that I can set apart from each other to get that down in there to whack on it. But about half tempted to maybe one of these days just take it to my buddy's shop and just use his press again, but it'd be a lot easier. That's pretty much all you gotta do, is just either beat it or use a press and get this one to match this one. You basically do it in sections and work your way out, basically is what I'll end up doing. But I'd like to get that other rear end out of that Buick Century, that 10-bolt with 308 gears that I want to put in here, but it has rained so much and the grass is so high in my fenced area that I just can't even get in there under that car. It is standing water in there, and I'm just not down to be laying in the mud to pull the rear end. So at this point, I'm just kind of ready to maybe put the body on the body cart to get the body out of the way. And I definitely need to break the chassis down and get it moved out of the way, so that's what I'm going to do today. And I've got this giant mess behind my hardtop now from where I've been working out here on the driveway. This is now my workbench, so I need to clean up all this stuff and put it up. I need to put this stuff away in my shed. So I got one heck of a mess. So I actually took the cylinder heads off. I just had them sitting on there for mock-up purposes, but I took the cylinder heads off. These are the 305 heads that I'll be using on the other engine, and they're just covered in grease, so I'm about half tempted to run them up here to the car wash and just car wash the crap out of them, but I doubt I'll make it that far. Too many little odd jobs going on is what the deal is, but a little frustrated over them weed eaters, man. That just sucks. Anyway, guys, that's what I need to do. I need to clean up my mess and and get busy here, so I guess that's what I'm going to do. But anyway, the frame is pretty much, I got everything done I wanted to get done, and I'm happy about that. So anyway, yep, that's it. I'm cutting it off here. Thanks for watching, guys.